All right, Heath, are you ready for our big interview with Coach Freeze?
Absolutely. Where's
Man,
Coach?
we are so excited to have Coach Freeze on, and let me go on ahead and bring him in here right now. Coach, how's it going?
What's up, guys? I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing
We're
good.
doing okay, Coach.
Well, good, man. It's been a good weekend here, and excited to do a few interviews today after another Liberty Flames win.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Well,
yes,
thank
that
you.
was a huge win for you guys.
It really was. I told my staff in pregame when I saw FIU's football team. You know, you have those feelings as coaches where, look, if we were to line up to run the 40 or the vertical jump or any of those things, we're probably not going to fare very well against them. But that's the great thing about football is you don't have to have necessarily the best individuals to be the best team on a given Saturday. So I was really proud of our kids.
Yes, sir. Well, first off, let me go on ahead and say happy belated birthday. Obviously, your
Yeah.
birthday was yesterday. So let me go on ahead and ask this. What is the worst birthday present that you ever received and why?
Oh gosh, that's a hard one. I can't think of a bad one, man. I guess I'm really blessed. The only thing that's made my birthdays bad is my birthday always falls in the football season. If you
Yes.
lose on Saturday and your birthday's on either that Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, it's you don't quite enjoy it as much. But my wife and kids are pretty good at they know me very well, and they usually stick to getting things that they know I will like. So I've been very blessed by that. They do well, and this one was a great birthday because I had my parents up from Mississippi, and they came and spent the weekend with us, and so it was awesome to have them here.
That's awesome.
Speaking of that, Coach, I'm here in North Mississippi, grew up here in Northwest Mississippi, went to Northwest Community College, such as you.
Go
I
Rangers!
grew up a county over from you here in DeSoto County. I believe our parents have worked together. I believe your mom and dad are in the school or were in the school system here in DeSoto County Schools.
That's right. That's
Good
right.
deal.
They're both
Eh, eh,
retired now, but they certainly, you know, my whole life was prior to coaching was spent in Tate, DeSoto County pretty much, and that's where my brother and his family still live, and of course my parents are still in Tate County, so Mississippi is the people there are very dear to me.
Coach, I got to ask this, being a Mississippi kid, growing up in Mississippi, what are some wow moments for you that I'm sitting at a table, I'm sitting in a room with this person right now, having a conversation, kind of
Oh
beside yourself
gosh,
a little
man!
bit?
I tell you, when you know, obviously, the biggest wild moment was when I was named the head coach at the University of Mississippi, and then what comes with that, man. You know, you're sitting at places like in front of Archie Manning, who was a legend in my family. Growing up there, and then Peyton Manning or Eli Manning. So you get to spend time with people like that, and then it expands to other realms of talking with NFL general managers to probably my favorite, he's become a dear friend of mine now, and this a lot of people don't get wild by a lot of people, but I've become very good friends with Eric Church, who is he's just I just love that guy. And he's a real man's man, and I love his friendship and thankful for people like that. So I had a ton of wild moments. Obviously, when you're a head SEC coach, I think you get a lot of opportunities to do that.
All right. Well, Coach, like we talked about earlier, congratulations on being 2-0 and through the first 2 weeks. Pretty much you had a nail biter last week against Florida International. Basically, what do you like about your team, and what can you improve on moving forward?
Yeah, I love the way that we found a way to win last week against, the win at Western Kentucky. Those guys won 9 games last year, returned 26 seniors, and are picked to finish either first or second in Conference USA, and we played really well in that game. Last week we didn't play quite as well,
Right.
but we found a way to win against a very talented team. And so I love that about our team. I think we have what I refer to as grit,
Right.
to where we're just going to play all 60 minutes and see, what the scoreboard says. And so I like that about them. We've got to improve. I think we're doing some really good things on offense. Our numbers are crazy good right now in a lot of ways. But we did not finish drives as well as we have to in the tight red zone. So we've got to improve that offensively. And defensively, the stats look really good with the exception of the explosive plays that we've given up. So we've got to improve there. And special teams, we've got to improve a little bit of everywhere.
Yes. Well, and as a matter of fact, your defense actually won you the game by getting that sack there late in the game, man. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, they come through at big times, and they held FIU to 304 total yards. And typically, Stingrays, man, you hold a team in this day and time to 300 yards, you feel really, really good.
Yes.
And we just gave up some explosive plays that created, immediate points, and that's
right.
We've got to improve on that. But they certainly came through with four 3-and-outs, and then the big sack there to end the game.
Coach, I wanted to ask you real quick about taking it back to the state of Mississippi, taking it back to the Magnolia. Crazy things are going on here in Mississippi. Lane Kiffin, Mike Leach, Deion Sanders. What kind of relationship do you have with those guys, and what do you think the folks in Mississippi should be thinking with those coaches down?
Well, I'm always careful. I will never tell anybody from Mississippi what they should think about their coaches, but I happen to, I like all of those guys. I know Lane probably better than the other guys, but I've had great respect for Mike Leach and what he does everywhere he's been. His demeanor is always kind of attractive. I like listening to his interviews because he makes me laugh and smile sometimes because he just says things that normal coaches don't say, and I kind of respect that about him. Lane and I kind of go back a ways from even my first time when I was an assistant at Ole Miss under Ed Orgeron, and I got to know him through their connections at USC, and we talked a lot of ball while I was there. And of course, Chris Kiffin, his brother's been on my staff at Arkansas State and at Ole Miss, so. I'm closer to Lane, and I think you've got two of the brightest offensive minds in the game in the state of Mississippi right now. So that's got to be exciting for the people there.
Coach, I won't ask you about the job vacancy down in Hattiesburg in southern Mississippi, but is your wife happy or shocked at the real estate prices there in Hattiesburg?
I tell people all the time, this world is so crazy, man. We're 2 games into the season and people are already talking about job openings, and it's I'll say this, man, we love it on the mountain here. They've been so good to us, and I think their commitment level here is pretty phenomenal, and we built a really nice house right on the mountain. I can see it, as I said, in my office at the stadium, so we're very blessed. Obviously, Hattiesburg is a great place also, and where my wife and I met and went to school, and it'll be interesting to see how all that turns out. But it's way early to start talking about any coaching vacancies for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I won't ask you about the Southern Miss job as a coach, but as a grad, what would you like to see happen down in Hattiesburg with the new coach?
Well, it's a proud program. The memories I have of it is of Jeff Bauer, man, just rolling like 15 straight years, and man, their saying was, anytime, anyone, anytime, any place, and they meant it. And you wasn't sure if you wanted to be on that schedule with what he had going there, and then of course Fedora did a great job there too. And it's been hard to kind of keep up with exactly what's going on and what the reasons are for whatever is going on, and I'm certainly not qualified to speculate on that. But I know that the people there, Mississippi's a proud state, and the people there are proud people, and whether it's State or whether it's Ole Miss or Delta State or Jackson State or Southern Miss, the people there want to have something to, it's the Mississippi people have rallied around usually, unless it's changed since I've left, which I doubt it has, but most communities rally around church and football. And,
nothing's changed, Coach.
And if those two things are in good shape, man, that community is a lot more joy and peace and happiness going on in that community. And I'd love to see that, return obviously to a place like Southern.
Well, getting back to the Liberty Flames for just a second, obviously you've had two games to kind of judge. What is the ceiling for this team under Hugh Freeze year number two?
You know, I thought going to a bowl game and winning it in year one was a remarkable achievement. I just, it's first year of FBS football, and you don't go from FCS to FBS football and all of a sudden have an FBS roster. It just doesn't happen that way. It's going to take you 3 recruiting cycles to get to get FBS players, and so I thought that was remarkable. It was one of the most rewarding seasons I've been a part of in coaching, and now here we are in year two, and our goal is to go back to a bowl game. And,
Right.
is it attainable? I think so. Our schedule gets extremely difficult, as we progress through it. So who knows? We'll see where that lands. But I do believe that this is a place that can be one of the top group of 5 type programs in the nation in a matter of a short amount of time.
Right.
Once you get 3 or 4 recruiting cycles, the facilities are incredible. The people are awesome. And they have a great vision. They're willing to put the support behind it. So I'm excited about what the ceiling can be here.
Coach, I got a question for you from a coach's standpoint, and I believe you went through this at Ole Miss, but when a new president comes in or a new athletic director, how do head coaches feel? How do you deal with that?
Well, I think it probably is more difficult with a new AD than a new president. Most new presidents, man, they are so overwhelmed with what's going on in the enrollment, the business schools, and with the faculty and all the many things that they have to manage. That AD's voice to that president probably is going to speak the volumes for what the head coach is viewed by the president. So I think it's not usually. I have had that happen at a stop before, just one, and and it was uncomfortable for sure because you have such a good relationship with the guy that hired you.
Right.
And Dr. Dan Jones hired me at Ole Miss, and to this day he's one of the guys I would pick up the phone and call for any kind of wisdom because I just love the guy, and we have a tremendous relationship, and so, I think it's all different. It just depends. But bottom line, if you as a coach are winning and doing right by your program, you're typically in good standing. But it certainly is. You kind of like the people that hire you for sure because you're indebted to them. I love our AD here. Ian McCall is one of the best men I've ever been around. He's a servant at heart, and he leads by example, and he's been great to work with.
This weekend, you actually traveled down to Florence, Alabama to take on North Alabama. Can you kind of break down that game a little bit for us, Coach?
Well, they're coming to the mountains, so we don't have to go there.
Oh,
But
that's good.
yeah, we look forward to playing at home again. Stingray is hard because they haven't played this year, and
Right.
I don't like basing my opinion on
Yes.
just what I saw last year. They've got some transfers in. That's a proud program too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
won a lot of football games, and I'm very familiar with those guys because of obviously where I'm from, and I know that they get transfers every year, and this is no different. And so it's kind of hard to say exactly what we expect. It'll be kind of a game of adjustments
Right.
as we get ready to go, but we're excited to play at home again.
Oh, absolutely.
Coach, I got a quick question for you. Being a coach and being in the profession, I got a good feeling you looked up to Steve Spurrier growing up. Who are some of the coaches that you liked and some of the books that you read of those coaches that you really enjoyed?
Yes, you said it, man. When I was a high school coach, Steve Spurrier was the one I, really, really admired, and I think he's probably, when you have a wow moment, that was one that we talked about earlier is finally meeting him, and not only meeting him, but sitting in meetings with him, and he used to call me advisor guy because I told him I wore a visor because he did, and we have a great relationship to this day also. But it's funny, people ask me all the time, who influenced me coaching, and I really don't. Man, I kind of did I came up with most of our stuff offensively just by watching other people. I never really went and sat down and talked to people or read books. Coach Malzahn and I have been friends for a long time because we were high school coaches at the same time, and we were both having success, and we would end up, at some of those same clinics together, and we kind of hit it off. So we've talked some ball, and Noel Mazzoni, we used to talk ball a lot, but I hardly ever talk ball with anybody anymore. I just, I don't know, man. I just kind of see it from how does something fit in our schematics and our verbiage if I see something that we're not already doing. But man, we're pushing the envelope about as far as you can, I think, on at least the tempo RPO world, which is what I believe in and has been successful for me.
Coach, you obviously said that you guys moved up a year ago. You currently are an independent. Would you want to stay an independent, or would you ultimately want to join a conference? And if so, which one would fit Liberty?
Yeah, I go back and forth on that. I really do, and really my decision has been I'm going to stay out of it and let our administration handle it, because I really don't know, man. There's a lot of neat things about being an independent and controlling your own schedule.
Right.
Look, reality is this. If we can just speak very frankly, there's only on a given year, there's only 5 to 6 teams that can win the national championship.
Right.
That's just the way it is. I mean, on some years maybe you could stretch it to 8, maybe, but yes. I doubt it. It's usually 4 to 6. And then the rest of us are obviously, we love the game and we love competing, but you're playing for a bowl game.
Yes. And
if you can be an independent, and it's funny, I'll ask kids in recruiting, hey, who won this conference or this conference? And most of them can't tell you.
Right.
And so, and being an independent, I think there's some advantages to look, hey, this year we're going to put you in front of Virginia Tech and NC State, and next year we're going to put you in front of Ole Miss and Auburn, and outside of that, we get to get a wide spectrum of different conferences that we get to go play against.
Right.
Being an independent. So I think there's some advantages to that. Obviously, there's some advantages to being in a conference also. So I'm going to trust our administration to do what's best for us in that.
Coach, we've talked offense. Let's jump to the other side of the ball. Who's the defensive mind that you just respect the most? Who are some defensive coordinators that most guys don't want to face?
Yeah, the first one that jumps in my mind, there are 2. Barry Odom, who's now at Arkansas, who I just have great respect for. And I'll say 3. Dave Womack, who coached with me, I think is very, very brilliant. And then Jeff Collins, I really like his defensive mind too. I thought those guys, and there's a lot of others, obviously. I don't want to leave people out, but I like those 3 people as individuals too. So that probably sways me. But I think Barry and Jeff, I think are heck of defensive coordinators.
All right, Coach.
Now, head coaches too, but
yes.
When I faced them, they were coordinators.
I'm gonna put you on the spot for just a second. Let's say that we get down to selection Sunday, and all of the conference's teams have at least 3 losses, like Big 12, Pac-12, SEC, Big 10, ACC. Is there a possibility that a team like Liberty or BYU, in your opinion, could sneak into the 14 playoff this year?
I think anything can happen in 2020, obviously. It's a crazy, crazy year, but I think you'd be hard-pressed to say with the schedules that we have. I think the committee's going to obviously, those teams that you're referring to, whoever they are, have played a considerable amount of top 25 teams, you would think, to be considered. So that's the hurdle that you face. Unless now we go run the table and beat 3 ACC schools and all of that, we'll start campaigning for it for sure. But there's a lot of work to be done before we can do that.
Coach, if you got a day off to watch college or pro ball, and I know college football coaches don't get any day offs during the season, but if you got a day off and wanted to sit down and just enjoy watching football, what coach or what team do you enjoy watching?
Say that one more time, the last part of it.
Oh, what coach or what teams would you enjoy watching?
Oh, man, I enjoy it all. I TiVo every SEC game. And, like, we had a 1 o'clock kick Saturday. And when I got home, man, I started fast-forwarding through all of them, and watching all – I watch offenses mostly of people that are similar to us. And, so I don't know that there's a certain coach. I will say every year you'll find somebody that gets hot or has a great quarterback, like last year, Joe Burrow. It's hard not to want to watch that to see, hey, man, what are they doing to put up so many numbers and all of that. And obviously Leach put up crazy numbers, last week. So you're watching that one. And, Lane and them put up some good offensive numbers too. So did Florida. So it's just, I TiVo them all and then kind of look and see, all right, who is very similar to us. And then those are the ones I tend to watch a lot.
Yes. Well, I don't have any other questions. Do you, Heath?
Last question I got for you, Coach. Lou Holt said it best. It's not X's and O's, it's Jimmy's and Joe's that win you ball games. What's the next step for Liberty to move forward other than Jimmy's and Joe's?
Yeah, well, you got to go recruit. I mean, we've got to get our 85-man roster full of FBS players, and I think our systems are good. I think our coaches are good. I love the environment, culture that we're creating here. But you need 3 deep on your depth chart to really compete at the level we want to. So I think for us the next step is simply that we're going to keep doing what we do offensively. We're going to keep building the culture here around faith and belief in each other and hopefully doing things the right way. But you got to have some players, and we're not quite ready 3 deep wise yet.
Gotcha. Well, Coach, thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it, and we hope to see you here later on this season.
Yes, sir.
Proud of your work, man, to get your body to where you want it to be, man. That's impressive.
Thank you so much, and hopefully we can get you back on before the Virginia Tech game. That would be huge.
All right, guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.